The wind moves like a living thing through the pine forest, cold, thin and restless, threading through branches that shiver like anxious fingers. Dawn has not yet claimed the sky. It is a bruised violet, heavy with mist, the kind that clings to clothing and makes breath appear in small, frightened clouds. Anna Keller stands in the clearing with her 3 children pressed against her skirt, their bodies trembling like birds in the fist of winter. The ropes around her wrists bite into her skin, coarse military, soaked from last night's rain. She shifts slightly, only a fraction, and the rope groans against the rough wooden post she is tied to. Her arms are raised just enough to make the muscles burn. Her hair, mud, streaked, tangled, hangs over her face, leaving only one eye visible. It is red, rimmed, swollen from crying, but it is still alert, still watching everything. A sign hangs around her neck, Verataren, traitor. The word scrapes across her chest with every breath, tapping against her bones like a judgment come alive. Her children, Lot age 10, thin as a stick, Emil 7, with mud on his lips from where he kissed the ground when he stumbled, and little Marta, only 4, press in close. Lot's hands are on Marta's shoulders, holding her steady each time the little girl whimpers. None of them speak. They haven't spoken since the soldiers dragged their mother out of their farmhouse in the dead of night. Anna can still hear the echo of fists pounding on the door, the shouted accusation. The cold hands grabbing her arms, the children screaming her name, a traitor, feeding an enemy soldier, harboring kindness, that was the crime. A crime born of an exhausted heart and a starving conscience. She had only given the wounded American soldier a bowl of soup, a place to lie down, a quiet corner where no one would find him for the night. She told herself it was because he was young, no, more than 20, and because his wound was oozing through his shirt. She told herself it was because she had already lost a husband to this war, and she would not lose whatever was left of her humanity. But her neighbor had seen, and in these late, collapsing days of the Reich, suspicion carried more weight than truth. Now she waits at the post, her children around her like frightened leaves as distant engines growl toward the clearing. American engines, the sound comes first as a tremble in the air, deep, metallic, methodical. Lot stiffens. Emil grabs his mother's leg. Marta curls into the fabric of Anna's skirt, tiny fingers cold against her thigh. Anna straightens her spine, though the rope cuts deeper as she does it. She inhales slowly, tasting the metallic sweetness of fear. Her breath fogs the morning. The engines grow louder until the trees begin to hum from the vibration. Then, headlights break through the mist. A column of American trucks rolls into the clearing. Their tarpaulin roofs shine with dew. Their tires crush the soft earth, leaving dark impressions behind like fresh scars. The German guards step back, rifles raised, postures stiff. They exchange curt glances with the Americans, a silent negotiation. A transfer. Anna's heart begins to thud so loudly she wonders if it can be heard. 2 American soldiers step down from the lead truck. Their boots sink into the mud. Their breath makes clouds. One of them removes his helmet, revealing a young face. Unexpectedly soft, unexpectedly human. The other stays silent, scanning the clearing with narrowed eyes. A German officer steps forward, pointing at Anna. Die Frau, und die Kinder. The woman and the children. Anna feels the children tighten around her. Lot whispers so faintly that her lips barely move, "Mama, they will take us." Anna cannot lie, she cannot speak. The American with the soft face approaches. He stops a few feet away, staring at the sign around her neck. His throat bobs, his eyes flicker with something she cannot name. Is it pity, confusion, disgust at seeing a mother tied to a post like a criminal? He kneels to look at the children. Marta hides behind her mother's skirt. Emil grips Anna's leg hard enough to bruise. The American lifts his hands slowly, not to grab, not to threaten, but to show emptiness. Open palms, no weapons, no cruelty. Anna's chest tightens. She has not seen open palms in months. Then the German officer barks, "Los mitnehmen." Go, take them. The Americans hesitate, only for a second, then duty overrides hesitation. The soft-faced soldier moves toward the children. Lot cries out, just once, a raw sound like cloth tearing. Emil tries to run, slipping in the mud. Marta is screaming now, high-pitched, desperate. Anna pulls against the ropes until her wrists bleed, until warm blood trickles down her fingers. She shouts their names, Lot, Emil, Marta, but her voice cracks, splintering in the cold air. The soldiers lift the children one by one, carrying them toward the truck. Marta reaches for her mother until her small hand disappears into the folds of a uniform sleeve. Anna's knees go weak, the world tilts, her children, her babies, gone. The American soldier looks back at her once, briefly, helplessly, before climbing onto the truck. Engines roar, the vehicles turn. Wheels spin against the wet earth. Anna watches as the trucks disappear into the trees, carrying her entire life with them. The clearing falls silent. The sign around her neck sways gently in the wind. Veritarin, but now the word feels hollow, because no punishment could ever compare to the moment she just lived. And somewhere deep inside her chest, a truth begins to form, a truth that will only reveal itself 2 days later. The rain begins again an hour after the trucks leave, soft at first, then steadier, a quiet pattering that slicks the bark of the trees and darkens the earth beneath Anna's bare feet. She remains tied to the post while the German guards smoke cigarettes under a canvas top nearby, barely acknowledging her existence. Her children's voices still echo in her ears, thin and trembling, as if trapped somewhere inside her skull. She closes her eyes, and the clearing dissolves. All she sees are the moments from earlier. Marta's outstretched arms, Emil slipping in the mud, Lot's hoarse cry. The memories come like blows, quick, painful, relentless. By noon the guards untie her without ceremony. Her wrists burn with raw, exposed flesh. Without a word, they shove her toward a truck waiting at the forest's edge. A square metal cage sits on the back, cold and unwelcoming. She climbs in, stumbling on stiff legs, no children, only her. A single figure among crates and the sour smell of diesel. The truck jolts forward, the forest blurs, the world becomes movement. Anna braces against the wooden slats, gripping them with blistered hands. Every bump sends pain shooting up her arms. Her mind tries to replay her children's faces, but the images overlap, distort, slip away. Panic grows like a slow, creeping vine inside her chest. Where are they taking them? Are they warm, fed, terrified, calling for her? A drop of water leaks through a crack in the roof and lands on her cheek. For a moment, she pretends it is a child's fingertip. She closes her eyes again just to hold the illusion a little longer. The convoy moves west. The sky stays a low, bruised gray, and the air grows colder. The roads turn muddier as they pass abandoned villages. Nothing but smoking chimneys, collapsed barns, and children's toys half buried in rubble. Every sight is a mirror of her own collapse. At dusk, the trucks slow. German soldiers shout orders. The smell of wet horses and damp canvas fills the air. As Anna peers through the gaps in the cage, she sees barbed wire fences stretching across a field. Watchtowers, searchlights, a German transit camp. Not for long, she realizes, just a waypoint. Hours pass, no one speaks to her, no one tells her where her children have been taken. Every question she asks dies in the air unanswered. By midnight they move her again, into a long, narrow barrack filled with other women. Their faces are hollow, eyes ringed with exhaustion. Some clutch bloody rags around their hands or heads. Some stare at their feet as if waiting for the floor to speak. One of them, a woman in her 40s with cropped graying hair, touches Anna's arm gently. "You're the one they tied to the post," she whispers with the sign. Anna nods, her throat too tight to speak. And the children, taken, gone, gone, gone. She cannot form the words, she barely breathes them. The woman doesn't ask more. She simply squeezes Anna's arm once, firm, steady, then returns to her corner where she sits beside a small tin cup filled with cloudy water. That night, Anna lies awake on a straw mattress that smells of mold and old sweat. The barrack creaks with every gust of wind. The women shift and cough in the darkness, but Anna is frozen, her mind replaying every sound from the forest clearing. She keeps seeing Marta's small hand disappearing, keeps hearing Lot scream her name, keeps remembering how Emil stumbled, trying to run back to her. The hours stretch. Every minute feels like a thread pulled tight around her ribs. When dawn breaks, the Americans arrive, not a raid, a transfer. Their trucks rumble toward the camp with a confidence that rattles the ground beneath Anna's pallet. German officers stand straighter, their posture filled with resignation instead of authority. They know what is happening, everyone does. The war is ending. Germany is collapsing like a dying star. Anna and the other women are marched outside, hands on their heads. The sky is washed pale, like a sheet that has been too long in the sun. The air smells of wet grass and the faint sweetness of spring trying to break through. She scans the horizon desperately. Children, her children, but the yard is empty except for adults. A soldier pushes her into a line. She stumbles forward, heart pounding in her throat. The Americans unload from their trucks. They look different in daylight, taller, broader, their uniforms cleaner, sturdier. Their faces show neither hate nor triumph, only fatigue, the kind that comes from seeing too much and trying to carry even more. Then she sees him, the soft-faced soldier from the clearing. He stands near the wire gate, helmet under his arm, eyes scanning the prisoners. His gaze moves across the line, searching for something, someone. When his eyes meet hers, he stops. Anna's breath catches. He recognizes her. He remembers. He speaks to another American soldier, gesturing subtly in her direction, but the other man nods as if he already expected this. A whistle blows. The prisoners are told to board the trucks. As Anna climbs up, hands trembling on the cold metal rail, the soft-faced soldier steps closer. You're all right," he says quietly, his German fragmented but determined. Anna wants to ask, "My children, where are they? Are they safe? Can I see them?" But before she can speak, the convoy lurches forward. Soldiers shout. The trucks begin to move. Anna grabs the side panel, leaning out as far as she can without falling. "Main kinder," she cries. "Wo sind sie? Bit. The soldier looks heartbroken. He raises a hand, palm open again. "I know," he says softly. 2 days. 2 days. Then the truck pulls away, dust rising in a pale cloud behind them. 2 days? 2 days until what? 2 days until she learns the truth about what happened to her children. 2 days until everything changes. The American convoy moves steadily westward, bumping along a road fringed with broken farmhouses and half-buried shells of trucks. Anna sits near the back of the transport truck, her thin fingers wrapped around a wooden bench polished smooth by years of bodies sliding across it. The other German women sit in silence, their faces drawn tight with exhaustion and confusion. Every once in a while, someone glances toward the canvas flap, as if they fear the world outside might vanish if they stop looking. Anna's wrists still ache from the ropes. Her throat feels scraped raw from crying the night before. Only the soft-faced American soldier's words echo in her head like a mantra she does not fully understand. 2 days. 2 days until what? She clings to those words like a lifeline, though they carry no clear promise. Hope has become a fragile thing, easily crushed, but still impossibly alive. The convoy eventually slows as the edge of a sprawling American run POW camp emerges from the mist. But it is unlike anything Anna expected. The fences are tall, yes, but the guards stand relaxed, not rigid. Dogs do not snarl. There are no screams, no drunken shouting, no terror thick in the air like at German camps. Instead there is order, food smells, voices that sound weary but not cruel. When the truck stops, Anna steps down slowly, her legs trembling. The air carries the scent of something she hasn't smelled in months. Warm bread. Her stomach clenches painfully at the memory of hunger. Inside the camp, a long, low building with steam curling from the windows stands like a promise of comfort. An American sergeant, tall with reddish stubble and squinting blue eyes, scans the line of German women with an expression that is neither mocking nor angry. If anything, he looks tired enough to be gentle. A translator calls out in rough German, "No running, no shouting. You will be treated well if you cooperate." The words ripple through the line like a second unfamiliar wind. Be treated well. whispers the older woman who had comforted Anna in the barracks. By Americans. Anna feels the disbelief settle in her bones. Everything she has been taught, every poster, every warning, every whispered fear around ration tables, rises to the surface. Americans were supposed to be monsters, savages, men who would kill them, punish them, take revenge for the bombed cities of Europe. But these men look inconvenienced, not vengeful. One guard even offers his canteen to a prisoner whose knees give out. Offers it, does not force it, does not taunt her with it. Anna's breath catches. When her turn comes at the registration table, she steps forward slowly. Her clothes still smell of the forest, of damp earth and fear. An American clerk writes her name down with quick, efficient strokes. Anna Keller, age, Drabig. She stammers. He smiles slightly, trying to be reassuring. 30. He repeats for the record. Her gaze is drawn to the small American flag patch on his sleeve. It is clean, bright, its colors painfully vivid after years of seeing only gray and dust. She is handed a metal tag stamped with a number. She turns it over in her palm, cold, smooth, not unlike a child's toy, but it is not the tag that shocks her. It is what happens next. She is guided into a large hall where women sit at wooden tables. On those tables are trays, actual trays, with bowls of thick, white porridge, slices of bread still warm from baking, and even a small dish of butter. Butter. Anna's knees go weak. For a moment, the room tilts. She has to grip the table to steady herself. Back in Germany, even before the collapse, she had scraped pans with her fingernail to collect a whisper of grease for her children. Butter had become a fairy tale, a rumor people spoke of with wistful sighs. And now it sits in front of her, pale and soft, like a dream that somehow materialized into reality. She touches it with the edge of her spoon. It leaves a smear of yellow. Her throat tightens unexpectedly. Her eyes burn. The woman next to her whispers, "Eat," before they change their minds. But the Americans do not look like men waiting to snatch food away. They barely even watch. They simply move trays, refill water canisters, and speak quietly among themselves. Anna lifts a spoonful of porridge to her lips. It is warm, scalding even, but the flavor melts across her tongue like kindness itself. She swallows and feels it slide into the emptiness inside her, filling spaces she didn't know were hollow. She hasn't eaten a proper meal in days. She hasn't eaten with peace in months. A diary is placed in front of her, not a German one, not an official issued item. A simple American notebook with lined pages. A guard gestures toward it and offers a pencil for writing. The translator explains, thoughts, lists if you want. Anna blinks. Diary they are giving her. Paper. She flips the cover open. The pages are pristine, smelling faintly of newness, like freedom trapped in paper form. She writes, Day 1. The Americans gave us butter. I don't understand. After the meal, the soft-faced soldier appears again, walking along the hall's edge. When he sees Anna, he stops. You eat? He asks in halting German. She nods, yes. He looks relieved. Then he hesitates, almost nervously, before adding, your children safe. The word strikes her heart with the force of a soldier's boot on dry earth. Safe. He says it as if it were simple. As if safety were something her children could easily fall into. Where? She whispers. He shakes his head, eyes soft with apology. 2 days. Paperwork. Her children's fate trapped in bureaucracy, carried along American desks. 2 days. Her breath leaves her in a trembling exhale. When he steps away, Anna touches the butter dish again and feels tears burn hot against her skin. For the first time since the ropes were untied, something fragile and electric begins to flicker inside her. Not hope, not yet, but the faint outline of it. Morning in the American camp begins not with shouting or booted footsteps, but with the soft clang of a bell. A bell, not an alarm, not a command, just a signal. A suggestion. The sound drifts gently over the compound, carried by the cool morning breeze that smells faintly of wet grass and coffee. Coffee. Anna wakes from a thin, uneasy sleep, her body still curled protectively around the diary she hid under her thin pillow. The barrack around her glows with early sunlight pressing through the cracks in the wooden walls, painting long stripes across the floor. Women stir slowly, rubbing eyes, stretching stiff limbs. There is no barking. No blows, no panic, just people rising. It feels unnatural, suspicious, too easy. When they step outside, Anna stops short. An American soldier stands beside a large metal kettle, ladling steaming liquid into tin cups. Coffee, real coffee. The aroma is overwhelming, rich, dark, warm. It wraps around her senses and pulls memories from places she thought were dead. Mornings in her old farmhouse, her husband humming as he ground the scarce beans she saved for special days. Lot giggling at the bitter taste, Emil dipping a finger in and making a face. Mar, too young yet, tugging at Anna's dress. Her chest constricts painfully. The soldier hands her a cup. She accepts it with trembling hands. The tin is warm, almost hot, and the rising steam fogs her vision. She takes a sips, small at first. The taste blooms across her tongue, both familiar and foreign. She nearly gasps. Warmth spreads down her throat. It feels like swallowing sunlight. She stands very still, letting the sensation root her, letting it remind her she is still alive. The older woman beside her murmurs, "I haven't tasted this in 3 years." Tears shine in her eyes. Anna nods. Her own voice has vanished. Later, the women are assigned tasks. Not forced labor, but orderly work. Cleaning, sorting linens, organizing storerooms. The Americans oversee the process, but do not hover. They speak politely, even cheerfully, as though this were a workplace instead of a camp. Anna is sent to the laundry building. Inside, the air is warm and thick with steam. The scent of soap, real soap, not the harsh ash-based paste she once made at home, hangs heavy in the room. White bars of it sit stacked on shelves. She picks one up. It is heavy, smooth, faintly floral. The soap itself is a revelation. Back home, she had washed her children with cold water and scraps of soaked cloth. Now the simple weight of the bar in her hand feels decadent, almost sinful. She presses it to her nose, closes her eyes. It smells like a life she was never allowed to imagine. One of the American women working with the Red Cross approaches, a nurse with freckles and a tired but kind face. "You can take one," she says gently, her English slow and deliberate, "for yourself." Anna's fingers clutch around the bar instinctively. "For me?" she whispers. The nurse nods. "Yes, you're allowed." Allowed. Another word that feels foreign in her mouth. She slips the soap into her pocket like a treasure and returns to her tasks, the scent following her like a promise. During the midday break, she sits on a bench with her diary open on her lap. Pens scratch quietly all around her as other women also write. No guards loom, no hands snatch papers away. She notes, "Day 2, they give us work, food, paper, soap that smells of flowers. I still don't understand." The soft-faced American soldier, the one who saw her in the forest, walks by with another officer. He looks toward her once, briefly. If he recognizes her, he hides it well behind duty, but his eyes hold something she cannot decipher. She wants to ask again. She wants to scream, "Where are my children? What has become of them?" But his promise, 2 days, still anchors her, fragile and fraying at the edges. In the afternoon, Anna is led with a group near the edge of the compound, where the fence overlooks a small American supply depot just outside the main camp. The sight leaves her breathless, row after row of crates. Food stacked as far as she can see, flour, sugar, potatoes, meat, coffee again. The abundance hits her like a physical blow. One woman beside her gasps and presses a hand to her mouth. Another begins to cry silently, tears falling one by one onto the dirt. Germany had starved quietly, starved loudly, starved relentlessly. Children's bellies swelling from hunger, rations shrinking until even imagination could not fill the void. But here, food sits in piles like it grows on trees. Anna's knees weaken. She grips the fence, fingers curling into the cold wire. The guard watching them speaks softly, almost apologetically, as if he can feel the emotional collapse happening behind him. "It's just supply," he says. Normal. What does that word even mean now? The women stare at the crates as though looking at a myth made real. Anna whispers, "My children, if they see this, will they think it is heaven?" A thought rises inside her, unexpected, heavy, disorienting. If America has this much for its soldiers, what might it give her children? The idea shakes her. Gratitude and guilt war inside her. Relief and shame intertwine like barbed wire around her ribs. She should hate this place, should despise the people who took her children, but the truth is more complicated, more painful. They feed her, they treat her like a human being, they give her soap, coffee, paper, warmth. And her own country had tied her to a post and called her traitor. That evening, after a dinner of stew rich enough to make her dizzy, she returns to the barrack and writes with a shaking hand, "If kindness is a weapon, then I am defenseless." She closes the diary. Tomorrow will be the second day, and she will learn what 2 days truly means. The second morning dawns with a quiet that feels deliberate, as if the camp itself is holding its breath. Light slips softly through the barrack windows, brushing across the sleeping women like a mother's hand smoothing a child's hair. Anna wakes before the bell rings, her heart already pounding with a rhythm she cannot calm. 2 days, the words whisper through her mind like a thread pulled tight. She dresses slowly, hands trembling as she tucks the diary into her pocket. Her legs feel heavy, as if each step carries the weight of every fear she has tried to swallow since the forest clearing. Outside, the air is cool and still. The compound is quieter than usual. Even the American guards seem subdued, speaking in softer tones. Anna feels the change immediately. Something is coming, something held in the space between breaths. The soft-faced American soldier appears near the mess hall, his helmet tucked under one arm, his hair slightly ruffled, as if he has run his hands through it too many times already this morning. When he spots her, he hesitates. Then he walks over. Her heart stutters. He doesn't smile. His eyes shift to the ground, then back to her, as if the words he carries are fragile and must be delivered gently. "Anna Keller," he says quietly. She nods, unable to speak. He glances toward a building near the fence, a small office where paperwork is processed, where names are matched with numbers, where fates are written in ink. "Come," he says. Just that one word, her knees nearly buckle. They walk in silence across the compound. Gravel crunches beneath her boots, a slow, rhythmic sound that keeps her anchored to the earth. She feels every heartbeat, every breath, every memory of her children brushing against the walls of her mind. She expects the worst, a grave, a mistake, a misfiled name, a whispered apology. Pain coils inside her, preparing. When they reach the office, the soldier steps aside and gestures toward the door. Inside, the room is small, warm, smelling faintly of ink and cigarettes. A wooden desk sits in the center, papers neatly stacked upon it. An American officer stands behind it, older, calm-faced, sleeves rolled up. He looks at Anna with an expression she cannot decipher. "Mrs. Keller," he begins, his German halting but respectful. "We have information." Her throat closes. She grips the edge of the doorway to keep upright. The officer lifts a small file from the desk and opens it. "Your children," he says, "were brought to a civilian holding station near our western post. They are not prisoners. They were never prisoners." Anna sways, the room blurs. "Not prisoners, why?" she whispers. It is barely a sound. The officer nods gently, understanding her confusion. "They are children," he says simply. "We don't keep children in POW camps." Her lungs release a breath so sharp it feels like a wound opening. The soft-faced soldier shifts beside her, almost anxiously, as if waiting to see whether she will collapse or stand taller. The officer continues carefully. "They are healthy, fed, safe." The word lands differently this time. Heavy, real, undeniable. "They are waiting," he adds. "If you wish, we can take you to them now." Now, a sob breaks in her chest. She presses a hand to her mouth, her body shaking as relief floods her so suddenly it feels as though her bones have turned to water. The soldier reaches out instinctively, just a steadying hand near her elbow, not touching but offering balance. "Come," he murmurs again. The ride is short but feels eternal. Anna sits in the front seat of a jeep. the wind whipping strands of hair across her face. The world rushes by in smears of green and brown, but her mind is fixed on one image, her children's faces. What will they look like? Are they angry? Have they cried for her? Will they run to her? Do they remember the sound of her voice? She grips the bar in front of her so tightly that her knuckles ache. The jeep turns onto a narrow road lined with young trees just beginning to bud with spring. The leaves tremble as the vehicle passes. Ahead, a cluster of small buildings appears. Simple, orderly, surrounded by a low fence. The civilian station. Her breath catches. When the jeep stops, she doesn't wait for permission. She climbs out, nearly stumbling, and hurries toward the entrance. An American nurse approaches, smiling with a softness that nearly undoes her. "Mrs. Keller," she asks. Anna nods so quickly tears spill down her cheeks. "They've been waiting for you." The nurse steps aside and gestures toward a small yard just beyond the building. And there they are. Lot sits on a bench, braiding Marta's hair with careful fingers. Emil kicks a ball softly against a wooden post. They look clean, fed, warm, alive. Anna makes a sound that is half cry, half laugh. Lot lifts her head. Emil's foot freezes mid-kick. Marta turns slowly, a ribbon slipping from her hand. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then "Mama." 3 voices break into the fragile air. They run. Anna falls to her knees as her children collide with her, arms wrapping around her neck, shoulders, waist. She pulls them close, so close her ribs ache from the force of it. She presses her face into their hair, their warm cheeks, their small hands gripping her clothes like they will never let go. She sobs, they sob, their tears mix with hers, wetting her collar, her hands, the earth beneath them. Her heart feels too big for her chest. "I'm here," she whispers over and over. I'm here. And then, through broken breaths, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." A Lot shakes her head fiercely. "No, Mama, you're here, that's what matters." Emil's fingers curl into her sleeve. "I thought you were gone." Marta buries her face against her mother's neck. "Don't go again." Anna holds them tighter. The soft-faced American soldier watches from a distance, helmet under his arm again, expression unreadable. But something gentle flickers in his eyes, something like relief or quiet pride. Anna looks at him briefly. Not with gratitude alone, but with understanding. Kindness had been the weapon, and it had saved her children. That night, in her diary, she writes only one sentence. "The greatest truth I learned is that even in war, humanity can choose its side." And she underlines it twice.